Take a drive from one end of Wichita to the other, from north to south, east to west, and take a close look at some of our struggling neighborhoods. Visit with residents who live next door to dilapidated abandoned homes and sense their despair of living in blighted neighborhoods that are in steady decline. Listen to their frustration over unsuccessful efforts to clean up and improve their neighborhoods. For too many citizens, the American dream of homeownership can quickly become the American nightmare. Abandoned property, unmaintained yards, and decrepit and dangerous buildings can destroy neighborhood pride that others have created with the sweat of their brow and their hard-earned dollars. When a Wichita neighborhood suffers from the residential cancer of blight, complaints often come to City Hall. Rightfully so, residents expect certain protections from a responsive local government. City officials share that concern and have certain administrative tools to fight the battle for better neighborhoods. But, too many times, our hands are tied. Too often, a timely remedy to an obvious problem is unavailable. Wichita City Council members are on the front line of this battle, and they are looking for help. State legislative changes proposed by the City of Wichita would provide a more timely and practical response to this chronic problem that frustrates not just Wichita, but communities across the state.
I'm Carl Brewer, a member of the Wichita City Council member for District 1. And this particular piece of property that you have here is in District 1. And it's one of just some of the blighted conditions that we've actually have here inside our city of Wichita. And in this particular piece, some of the work has already been done in removing where the property owner has removed some of the stuff from what is previous condition. But this has been an ongoing issue for approximately 20 years. And because of some of the legislation and because of the laws, it doesn't allow the city of Wichita to be able to address that. And it allows us to have to continue going through a court process and being able to address these particular issues. Quite naturally, the common thing that you always hear that it's definitely going to have an impact on, and that's the property values. Just one particular house that's directly next door, the property value has dropped by $8,000 from what it used to be. And I don't think that anyone could sustain something like that happening to them. The only way that we're going to be able to correct a lot of these issues is to address those blight issues at the state and federal levels, and we need our state legislators to support us in being able to give us the tools that we need to be able to address it and be able to clean up our communities and also the areas that they themselves represent.
I'm Sharon Ferry. I'm the 6th District City Council representative. Right now we're standing in the historic Midtown Citizens Association area. This area has 3 of our national registered historic districts in it. That's why it makes maintaining our property in this area very important. It's also important because we have a lot of low-income people that live in this area. This neighborhood association has strived for years to keep this a well-balanced neighborhood, both economically, racially, small houses, big houses, something for everybody. When we have a house like the one behind me, it affects those efforts that this neighborhood association and the city are trying to take on. Through our new Stop Blight program, we hope to be able to get houses like this and put them back into use. Not only does that help the surrounding neighborhood, it also helps the city, the county, and the state because it's back on the tax rolls as something that is worthy of a house like this. One of the most important things that we need the state's help with is taking care of the gap. And what I mean by that is we have a house like this that's been on the delinquent tax rolls for 4 years. As you can see, it's starting to deteriorate rather rapidly. As soon as there become holes in the roof or holes in the foundation, it gets harder and harder to save the property. Therefore, we need the state's help in getting this property into the hands of a nonprofit group that can rehab it, get it back on the tax rolls, and get a low to moderate family in it to take advantage of what we can do and what the nonprofits in this area can do. One of the other things that's very important about this particular house is that it's right across the street from one of our brand new schools. And we don't want this kind of thing across the street from it, as parents are looking at this school and thinking, is my child safe there, that kind of thing. A boarded up house speaks of high crime rate, deterioration, litter, all those kind of things that we don't want in this neighborhood, in our city, and certainly next to one of our schools.
Hello, my name is Councilman Jim Skelton. I represent Southeast Wichita. Behind me you see an example of a property that has been delinquent in taxes for many years. It's been abandoned and absolutely has been a sore spot for this neighborhood. This house here is going to be torn down, and it could have been possible here years ago to for the city to have the ability to foreclose after a year, for example, in order to perhaps sell this property to a nonprofit or work with other people in the neighborhood to revitalize this property and rejuvenate it and return it to use. However, it's my understanding that that process does not exist now, and that it could be remedied by adjustments in state law. What I believe would help is the legislature to pass ordinances and laws that would provide the city with tools to go in and foreclose upon this property at a sooner time. If this property were to be available to a nonprofit, for example, the nonprofit could acquire this, invest their resources in here, and turn this into a livable, habitable house that is a definite benefit to the neighborhood. Additionally, while the nonprofit's investing money in this property, we do need tools that would help protect their investments in the interim period before they could come to some kind of disposition with this property. We're seeking tools from the legislature to help us increase our enforcement ability and ability to save houses like this at an earlier time.